Good grief, everybody. This is the third intro that I've done so far, but I'm going to keep this one. Happy to have you back. Welcome back. Nice to see you. Happy to hear from you. It is the big thing. It is Thursday. Roxy's back. Brett's back. You're back. It's nice to have you back. Or maybe you're here for the first time. And if that's the case, then subscribe. And that way you can come back all the damn time. All right. So if you didn't know the way the show works, we have a list of topics. I put a list of topics out there in the world of the entertainment news. And the panel, myself included, we look at the list and we're going to talk about that. And there's some things that we could talk about and some things that might get left out because of time constraints. I said constraints. So here are some of the things that we might talk about. Hugh Jackman talked about Taron Egerton playing Wolverine. What's his thoughts on that? Last of Us, man, that show's popular. We talk about how popular it is, how big it was. And there was some talk, some scientists now are talking about if that virus actually could happen. You want to hear those answers. Mandalorian, those trailer came out. We'll talk about that. We talked about it pretty extensively on Sith Council yesterday, but we could talk about it again. Channing Tatum, he's supposed to play Gambit. He says that's probably not going to happen now. That's right. Scream. Remember that ghost face, motherfucker? He's back. And there's some image about him, so maybe he gets brought up. And then Disney Plus, there's a whole bunch of crap going on over there too. So maybe anything, one of those, a few of those, they all could be talked about here today. But before we get into it, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that podcasts are found, head on over there. Get the Patreon, patreon.com. Really having some great conversations with people over there. Had a good Q&A the other day. It was a lot of fun. So head on over there as well, and that's patreon.com/thebigthingshow. Black Knight t-shirt, it's up there and it's selling. People are digging it, and you don't know shit. That's a fun one to do. And that's one I'm getting for Roxy. She's like, when? Mm-hmm. Roxy right now is like Paulie from Goodfellas. Fuck you, pay me, but with shirts. And then everything else that you want. Sith Council, show some class, the Top Gun guy.
The Top Gun guy?
That and more on the store, so make sure you check that out. All right, everybody, let's get into it. It's the big thing. You ready? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's do it then. Choose and be, choose and be, choose. Oh yeah. Oh, what's going on? I forgot I was on the air. How's everybody doing? Good. Back. Roxy's here.
Yeah. Do you want to know how I'm doing?
Yeah, I do. Brett's here.
Hey, guys.
Hey, I like these new angles, Roxy. You like them?
Listen.
Yeah.
I got to work on my posture.
Why?
Because this is me in the new angle.
Oh, I think it looks good, though. And you are...
Now your head's cut off.
Yeah, because I'm sitting up.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Brett, you happy with the camera angles? Or
It's
not?
all right. I think I'm a little shiny.
Shiny hiney?
On mine, or it's just that Roxy looks so much better than me.
That's good. That's good.
But I have a very regimented skincare routine, Brett.
You have camera ready makeup, and I don't have it. I just need a base.
You need a base?
And some powder, and I'll just... Guys, Cody?
Yeah, Cody. That's going to be a new shirt, even though...
What's a base?
Base?
Like
Ace of base?
Base. Like your foundation.
You mean foundation. I don't have foundation.
You don't?
No.
Well, you have a foundation of life.
Yeah.
Oh.
And friendship.
Right? Yeah, I would say so.
Good. I like that. All right, listen, before we get into this, Roxy's very healthy. I like that she's healthy. Brett's healthy. We're all healthy. And the reason everybody's healthy is because we know that out there is Carbon Health. That's right. Carbon Health sponsoring this episode, and we're very excited. I love Carbon Health. You guys know I love Carbon Health. And they have 120 locations, handles urgent care, COVID, RSV, flu testing, vaccinations. And right now, man, things are high. But what people should be looking into is how they're expanding into primary care services that also include connected health. And if you don't know what that is, it's the idea that our health, it's not just about our bodies, but it's also our mind. Carbon Health providers come connected with mental health specialists, and that's great. They expanded their primary care services this year, and if you're in Massachusetts, you'll be able to access the connected care. So it's new and it's expanded from California all the way to Massachusetts. Carbon Health, it's an excellent urgent care testing center, but don't sleep on their primary care services. So always excited to have them. Okay, Let's get into this stuff, guys.
I waited to tell you something.
Oh, what do you want to tell me?
I like your facial hair.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been.
Yeah, it's good.
I've been growing it out because it's because of Manscaped.
Oh.
Because Manscaped now they have the beard trimmers.
So that's why.
That's why. Yeah, I decided that I'm going to
It's a new
start.
shape for you.
I know. I've decided I was going to start doing it more, and I was like, because I don't like my fat face when it's not shaved. And although I've lost weight, lost 10 pounds. No,
Nice.
8 pounds.
What are you doing?
Not eating like a fucking animal.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's just like, although I do feel like an addict when it comes to pizza. I'll tell you.
What's up with your pizza regiment?
My wife's been great on the, like yesterday I did Can't Be Shown. On the way back, I'm always hungry every time I come back from that show because it's an hour and 15 minutes to get from my place to his place. And I'm always hungry. So yesterday I brought a chicken breast with me and I put it in the fridge and I just gnawed on a chicken breast the whole entire time. And it was great. But I've been doing salads.
At his show, you ate the chicken breast?
On the way back from the show.
Okay.
I just put it in his fridge.
And then you ate it
and then I ate it on the way back. Like gnawed on it like a wolf in the woods. And I was on my way back. And I'm driving back, and I was full, but I've been eating been eating well. And my wife's like, okay, you gotta get one cheat day. Then she's just making sure to keep me on my shit.
Yeah.
To make sure, because it's also the cholesterol shit and all that stuff. Old men problems.
That's just real, though.
It is, I know. So she was like, just make sure you don't take your cheat day when you take your cheat day. I had lunch with a buddy last week, and we went to the sushi place, which is fine. It's not part of the cheat.
What sushi place did you go to, Kristian?
My favorite sushi place, but I don't want to talk. I don't want to say it on the air.
With a buddy?
Yeah.
Was I the buddy?
You were. You just weren't awake. You didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. What do you just ship somebody to a...
This is insanity, but I'm listening.
Anyway, right across the street, and I do this all the time, is Joe's Pizza. And I do it all the time. I can't help myself. I had to have a slice of pizza before I went because it's so good. It's my favorite pizza.
Before sushi, you had pizza?
I do it every time, Roxy.
What?
I do it every time because I can't... It's just so good. And I was like...
Why don't you just go get pizza then?
Because it's just a little appetizer.
Pizza's your appetizer?
It was when I go there.
One slice.
Maybe two.
That's tough.
It's so crunchy and it tastes so good. But anyway, the point is, that's the only time. So I've been doing even more of the non-cheating. But I don't know how that got to the fact.
Tell your wife?
No, not. She doesn't listen to this show. So
She doesn't care, but don't tell her. She's totally fine with it. But
I'm not gonna. But I haven't been cheating other than that.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I just can't. It is. I talked about it in stand-up. I was like, it's like everybody else. You feel when you're 17 or 18 years old and you sneak out and you've gone to a club or you did something, you came back like, yeah. I get excited when I get away with eating pizza and dumping the box in the neighbor's trash.
I can't believe you're having 2 slices of pizza as an appetizer.
It's
I'm not
delicious.
trying to food shame you, but
Yeah, you should. It's all right.
it's a tough moment.
It's delicious. You wonder though, but I used to do that kind of stuff all the time. You wonder why I was 12 pounds overweight.
But just get the pizza. I don't understand the pizza and the sushi.
It's delicious on both.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's both delicious stuff. You're with me on this,
you're
right?
going from Italy to Japan real fast. You're just traveling around the world.
100%.
Yeah.
When I eat sushi, I feel very healthy and good about myself.
Right.
So if I were to have pizza prior, I would not have that feeling. So
Well, but you're looking at it wrong. You're looking at it wrong. You do the part that's gonna make you feel bad first, and then you finish it up with the healthy stuff.
No, it's
What do you
like
mean,
it's not right.
Doesn't work?
No, it's like when you eat a salad and then you have cake.
Yeah, listen, I get what you guys are saying. I just don't give a shit.
Oh.
How about that?
Yeah.
You ever think about that?
Well, whatever's working for you.
You know?
Well, it's not something that I'm doing all the time. It's just
You
when
said
I go to
every time.
no, every time I go to that place.
And how often do you go to that place, Kristian?
No, I haven't been. I went. We were getting it quite often here for lunch, Roxy.
And
then I met somebody for lunch. My buddy Graham.
My invite was
You don't know Graham.
no
What?
for here when you were getting for lunch.
Oh, you weren't here. You're too busy. You only come in on one day.
Yeah.
You don't like to come in here anymore. You used to complain about how you used to want to come in all the time, and every time I ask you to do it, you only got one day you can come in.
It is not true.
I think it's pretty true.
I asked you
Brett?
to be here 2 days. You said no.
Brett, that's not true. What do you think?
Yeah, if your schedule is like insane, and
right.
I know that if he asked you to come in 2 days,
You wouldn't do it.
I've told you before,
I won't do it.
I can't do it.
Brett, be honest right now.
Yeah.
He is.
Brett, be honest.
I've been
right
on
now.
text threads with you. You're like, Kristian, I told you I can't do Mondays at
That's right.
2, Thursdays at 4,
Brett,
Fridays at
Be
8.
honest.
He's being
right
honest.
now.
Being honest,
This is it.
your schedule is quite.
Wait, I literally asked you if I could do 2 days this week.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh, I
No,
missed
this week.
that.
But I already had something set up. You can't just 5 minutes before they were about to start shooting. Say,
Last
by
week
the
I
way.
asked.
Yeah, but then you made us almost change the whole show because you said you weren't going to be here today.
Yeah, I did do that.
Okay.
But I did ask for 2 days.
After.
No, before.
I've had enough of this.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's move on. Time to actually talk about things on this show.
Like what?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Roxy. I'm going to start with this. I got to talk about this show. I love this Last of Us, man. It's really, really, really good. Last of Us, I've been talking about it all week. And now there's a few different things with The Last of Us. Not only minus House of the Dragon, it's the highest rated show on HBO in the last 10 years, the season premiere, which was nuts. Nuts, I tell you. Nuts. And now there's some other stuff. They've had some scientists. Anytime you have a popular show, people start asking, hey, can this shit happen? And especially the way they did this, I thought was so interesting about the explanation of the it's not zombies, I know, the infection, the explanation of the infection was really smart. And it was like, oh, especially with, combining it in the fact that all the shit that's been going on in the world the last 3 days. 3 days? The last 3 days. There's a lot of shit going on last 3 years.
COVID happened fast.
It happened real fast. But this is an article from Dark Horizons. I'm going to guess that it's from the G-Man. The discourse surrounding HBO's The Last of Us series has touched upon the opening episode's very first scene, a creation of a creation wholly of the TV show, which sets some familiar character actors portraying participants on a 1960s new show discussing pandemics. In a skillfully moody scene, the Mummy alum John Hannah plays an epidemiologist who sets up the threat of the very real cordyceps fungus and how a mutated strain of the mind-controlling organism eventually jumps from insects to humans and leads to the cataclysmic pandemic of the game. The scene has sent chills down the bones of many, and Forbes has done a great piece speaking with scientific experts about a possibility. The short answer is essentially not to worry.
Ooh.
Yes. Joel Arrojo, I'm not sure I got that right, a mycology researcher at the New York Botanical Garden, says that fungus are not prepared to invade, establish within, and transmit spores from a human body, and cannot even establish themselves in any mammals or non-insects after having parasited insects for more than 130 million years thus far. David Hughes, who's a professor of food security at Penn State, who also consulted on the first Last of Us game, said that while it's not that fanciful to imagine an infection crossing into humans, any such quote-unquote zombie fungus would lose its mind-controlling powers in the process. So there's a lot of conversation about this going on, and I'm going to throw to Roxy first here because I know she's going to bring, I'm assuming she's going to bring up... I know she's going to bring up Last of Us in her TV segment. But let's get into this. What'd you think of the show? Are you surprised at the numbers that it did? And let's start there. I was going to think maybe talk about the sciences, but not yet.
Yeah, I want to talk about that though.
Yeah,
because that's where I have some weird thoughts.
Okay.
But the show's excellent. I thought it was unbelievable, and I knew that everybody said it was unbelievable, and then I get worried about these things because this is like so pretentious of me, so I'm just gonna call it what it is. I watch more TV than people, and so things that people think is like mind-blowingly good,
You've seen it.
I'm like, y'all don't even watch television, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but just like it's like the people who watch 500 movies a year, and then they give their list of best pictures, and it's things I've never heard of, and they've earned that. So usually when there are these things where everybody's like, this is the greatest show, I'm like, is it the greatest show? So I was kind of nervous about this one. I hadn't played the video game. The hype was so real on it. And so I just was thinking, like, it's probably going to be decent. It was so fucking good.
It was really good.
I just thought it was so good. I watched how many years of The Walking Dead? 16?
Right.
15? I mean, so many. So I kind of felt tapped. Again, I know this isn't zombies, but I kind of felt tapped on the
It's
genre.
post-apocalyptic, and it's the same type of feel.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna call them zombies every time we talk about this, just to rattle
People.
people up. I said
not.
zombies the other day, and there's somebody in the chat. Actually, they're not zombies. I know they were just being
fact,
fun about it.
I know.
But yeah, I don't care. They're zombies. It's a zombie game.
I like that Brett is at the point where he like eggs on hate. I breathe and I'm hated. I don't need to add that by calling them zombies. So I think that it's excellent. The world building is obviously great. People are talking a lot about that. The actors are obviously great. People are talking a lot about that. But I thought that the coolest part was that as somebody who didn't play the video games, it felt like the most expensive video game of all time. Like what, especially in the car scene, and when you're hearing the sounds come from and the lines, like you could just picture this is like it's being true to its roots. And I thought that was really cool, and in a way that was enticing, exciting. And even though I knew part of what was going to happen, it still felt just like raw and real. So good.
I loved it. I loved every bit about it. I think that it delivered. Brett finally said, he's been working his ass off on this freaking studio, and he's like, I said, hey, I no pressure, but I'd love to get the PlayStation hooked up. And he did. To his credit, he got it hooked up right before the premiere, so I could play the game, because I have it. It's been sitting on my shelf for like 4 years. And I finally...
Do you mean plugged in?
No, the game, like the PlayStation. The PlayStation, he redesigned the entire entertainment thing. So like by the time he was hooking up everything, and I didn't want to get in his way. So it's like,
but you know how to like.
Of course, the PlayStation. Yeah. I don't like to mess with his setup, because he's got things he's like my wife. He's the way he organizes things. So I was like, hey, is it? He's like, it'll be ready. So, and it was.
My wife.
But I didn't get a chance to play it. And I really wanted to, but I decided what I was going to do is maybe watch some of the story after I've watched the show. Like there's a video game story after I watched the show to compare it to. And what I loved about it, and what I kind of talked about in kind of great depth, was that the stuff that I've seen that they've added seems to elevate the story more so than anything else. But the strange thing here, that this is never going to happen. And I always joke about how Brett's the resident expert. And I normally would joke, well, bro, Brett, you've played the game. And then we'd all laugh because he hadn't. That's not the case. Brett is the only one on this table who actually played the game all the way through. What did you think? Like, because I know you were pretty excited about this because you've played the game with your son.
Yeah, played the game. We both loved it. I still need to do the second one. And I think I need to do it fast, because I think there's going to be things that, I'll want to know ahead of time, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, we both enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm excited to see it every week. And I think the biggest thing for me with this is that I knew the story would be good, but like you said, the acting in it, you'd assume, because the acting is so cheesy in the games, but they got great actors for this too. So they took a video game show and made it very serious and very cool. And I don't know. I love it. And I don't know what you said. You heard one person didn't necessarily like it.
Yeah, there's only been one person that I spoke to who didn't like this show, and I feel like they're lying.
Yeah, right.
I
it
do.
Bibbs?
Probably no, it wasn't. But I don't understand how you could watch this and not think it was great.
I think that what people are doing, and I can't speak for the person that you spoke to, but I think what a lot of people are doing that haven't liked this, comparing it to other zombie shows and post-apocalyptic shows, and it's like, the way that I know this show is going to be. Was going to be a massive hit, not only from the hype around it, it's going to get the video game fan. We know that. The fan of the show is going to watch the show, and then if they do the right thing, that it seems that they did with this faithful adaptation.
Spike Lee.
What's that?
Do the right thing.
Yeah, but if they do this faithful adaptation, they're going to be they're going to get that hardcore audience. But you don't break records for 10 years by just getting that audience. You've got to get the casual fan. So as you know, you guys both know, you could count you'd run out of space if we're like, okay, every time put a piece of paper down, so every time I say that my wife has bailed on a show, there'd be paper all over the place. So if you were going to guess, you'd probably say this wasn't going to be a show for my wife. She watched it the whole way through. She wanted me to wait to watch it. She did. Not without spoilers, the opening was very tough. And it's supposed to be. And then the show itself, what she liked about it, and I heard the producers talk about this, there's violence in this show. It's not, but the show's not overly graphic, and the focus itself is about the characters, the story, the emotion, And that's going to hook a lot of people in. Now, Walking Dead was a great show for what it was, and I loved that show for the first like 4 or 5 seasons. It was gory and graphic, and it was supposed to be. That's not this show, and I think you're going to bring in more people that way because of it.
I also think that a huge aspect of this show, and again without spoilers, but is like parental relationships with children and protection and things like that. And I think that that's going to speak to a lot of different people. That was, granted, a big element of The Walking Dead as well initially, which was definitely lost throughout the seasons, even though I loved that show beginning to end. Yeah. Don't care.
Yeah, no, a lot of people did, for sure.
Did they?
There was a lot of people. I mean, they lost some people towards the...
It's me and Josh. It was me and...
Yeah, no, I remember for sure. I remember.
Do you know that I haven't seen the last 3 episodes of the show?
Oh, really? How come?
I've watched the entire thing, and then the last 3 episodes... I just like can't. I have a hard time with things ending.
You don't want to say goodbye. You know you'll get to it. You just don't want to say goodbye yet.
Yeah, I will absolutely. But it's like I've been watching that show since I was a kid.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I remember. Yeah, I was working at The Bachelor when that show came out. Holy shit!
I mean, how many? Seriously, was it 15?
2010. 2010 is when it came out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Like I was.
Because I remember. So if you guys have been watching the show,
my daughter was born.
It's crazy. Well, if you know our.
I think it came out before then.
No, it did. It's 2010. I can tell you for sure. I mean, you can look it up, but
I was in college. I thought I was in high school.
It was 2010. So my because Andrew Freed and I were who you guys have known from this show.
All right, you were right.
Yeah, I just know.
Did you work for Skybound or something?
Back then? No, that's not how I knew it. I knew it because Andrew Freed and I were working on a project with AMC at the time, and we remember how hyped we were because there was this like. There was more money coming into AMC now because of how good Walking Dead was doing. And the show still didn't go. But it doesn't matter.
But you did that movie talk thing with them.
No, I didn't. With what? Oh, no. Different AMC. Different AMC.
Okay.
Different AMC. That there's AMC, the network, and then AMC,
you
the
said
theaters.
No, I didn't. My heart sunk like I just said something wrong.
I thought you meant like doing a Walking Dead show. Totally.
Okay, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Well, we were both right. We were both right. I did a show for AMC, but it wasn't that AMC. Anyway, let's get into the scientist shit because I thought that so for those people, the opening of the show has this conversation that was so great, and this is something that they added as well. And it just let you know this is how. So you want to know questions about how this thing is happening and what it's going to do and what this thing is, that it's not zombies necessarily. The argument could be made though that it's your body's still dead, and the thing is keeping you alive. So in definition, it is a zombie, but it's an infection throughout the actual the fungus. And I thought, I was like, oh, man. And the way that the guy was just kind of explaining it, like just kind of cold matter of fact, you're like, in 1960, was it
68?
67?
60. It was one of the two.
68 for 1,000 hours.
60 for 1,000. But either way, and then you jump into 2003, and then you jump into 2022, whatever it is. It was, but that conversation of could this really happen? Could it really happen? The idea of, thank God, it seems unlikely, but who knows?
This is the kind of shit that I go down rabbit holes for. And I went off on this recently I've been going off on a lot of animal things and jellyfish and ants in particular. And things.
You like jellyfish and ants?
There's this weird shit about jellyfish, man.
Okay.
Are you looking at jellyfish or no?
No, some other time maybe. Finish this.
No, this is about this.
Oh, go ahead.
So there's like certain jellyfish that can live forever.
Oh, look at that.
They don't die.
Oh.
And they do this weird thing where, like, if they experience extreme trauma, they go to the bottom of the ocean and they, like, regenerate and almost time jump back to their initial self to forget whatever things that they've experienced, which is just fucking flabbergasting crazy because the way that they talk about this in The Last of Us with the ants and, like, it starts in different species where something takes over and we don't understand, and then that morphs into different species, which eventually could morph into humans. I think there's a lot of shit that goes down with insects, animals, mammal, like all of it.
Do you think aliens put octopus here? Because there's a big theory that.
Oh, really?
There's a massive theory that octopus is a
I
fucking
wouldn't
alien.
say no.
I wouldn't either.
I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no.
You look at a fucking octopus.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's about
shit's
as science
crazy.
fiction as it gets.
It's crazy. So when you hear things like this and you have a show that sits there and kind of explains it, you have to be thinking to yourself, like, this isn't outside of the realm of possibility. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but they talk about the Earth overheating. They're talking about things that are relevant to us right now.
Right, it was smart.
Like in the same way that if you had asked me 10 years ago, do you think that COVID's going to happen? I'd been like, what the fuck is that?
Right,
You know, like,
right.
did this seem like something like this
What
could
was that
take
movie
place?
Maybe? What was that one with
Contagion.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean,
Totally.
that movie, so bizarre the way that people are. Like, that was like a number one. In 2020, that movie started like becoming, it was like trending. It was like number one on
So
Netflix
weird.
and everything too. Anyway, does this stuff freak you out still that it potentially could happen? Because I mean, this is one. There's a lot of shit that I think can happen and has happened and will happen. This is one I'm not worried about anytime soon.
No, I think we have other threats that are going down, but this one doesn't seem.
This isn't something to keep you up at night, but you guys don't think that it is possible that there could be some kind of fungi or bacteria that alters the way that people act, and then that alteration affects how they interact with other people in some way.
When you put it that way,
Possible, sure, possible. I mean, I loved the conversation that they had where they're talking about like LSD and what LSD did and all that. Like that whole thing was like, well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of ultimately what it is, and mushrooms and what mushrooms do, and that alters the way you think. So in the pure definition of it, yeah, sure, but like much so where it's you're biting people's necks and taking over the whole world. No, I don't think that's happening.
I'm with you on that. And I'm super duper not a scientist, in case that wasn't clear. I dropped out of chem class when I was 16.
Come on, man.
yeah, go back, get that chem class.
Are you talking to my 16-year-old self?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Be cool. Stay in school. Come
Good,
on,
just reach
man.
over.
That's
whenever
my
you
mic.
need to.
Well, I was on her shot.
And we saw your arm go across my side.
It was not on her shot. It was a wide shot, and you stuck your fucking mug right
No,
in there.
when I reached, you know what? Start the show over.
Let's do it. Chem class.
Chem class.
Come on, man.
Come on,
Come
show
on.
it. Show
some
show
class.
a little.
What happened to the Big Thing Energy shirt?
We'll do it. We'll get it done. We will get it done when we need to get it done. Let's have some fun and get it done today.
We had a shirt we wanted to pitch you on SEN.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
Brett came up with it yesterday.
Oh.
Was that quiet horror?
Yeah, see, I heard the bit. It's good. The problem is that you got to get people to watch the bit.
Yeah. You don't want just a bunch of people wearing "Shut Up, Horror" on their shirt.
Say what again? Listen to me. This is a good show, and it's going to continue to do well. I'm excited to watch more of it.
This one?
This show's wonderful, but Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
And Joel Edgerton is Joel Edgerton not even in the show.
Pedro Pascal.
Joel
Not even close.
Edgerton.
Not even close. Why did
I love Warrior. So good.
You see where I went at first? I go, how did I get there? But his name is Joel in the show. So there you go. I found it out. I discovered in my own brain that's where it went. But Pedro Pascal, what a year!
Zaddy.
What a year he's having.
Oh.
What a year he's
He
having.
does it for me. Tandy Newton's daughter, awesome.
She was great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bella Ramsey, awesome.
There's no. I mean,
Bella Lugosi. Awesome.
you're really good.
Joel Edgerton.
Joel
awesome.
Edgerton.
Amazing.
Taron Egerton.
But the woman who plays, I think it's Marlena. I don't know, but she's actually played her in the game.
Cool.
So did you watch? You didn't watch the little thing that they did after, like the little post show? I'm surprised you don't watch those.
I usually do. I was doing a live watch along for
I
this,
see,
so
I
then
see.
I just
But
dipped out.
it was great. It was, and the fact that she got cast in that role and in this role is pretty cool. She was good in it. She was really good in it. I'm really looking forward to the show, and I'm excited because it's one of the shows that it's like I said, it's not my wife's like typical show that she watches, but we're already like looking forward to like next week.
My wife wasn't going to watch it with us. She's like, oh, I think this will be your little thing or whatever. And we're like, we're starting it, and she's sitting on the couch and, looking at her phone. She's like, oh, yeah, I'll come. And then she got hooked immediately, bawling after that first scene. Mm-hmm. And then last night she goes, are we going to watch another Last of Us? And I was like, they're out every week. She's like, oh, no, she's mad about it.
Yeah, but and that gets into we can kind of turn this into another conversation here because we talked about this kind of at length on Campy Show yesterday. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it, especially you, because I think that we've talked about it with Netflix and how they need to change their game. Mm-hmm. Right? They have to change their game. Like
and they have with non-scripted.
With non-scripted, right? But like you look at these shows and the main topic that we talked about on his show yesterday was that you just never know when anything's coming out for that platform. They just put a whole bunch of shit. They make a lot of stuff. The argument from a lot of people is they make too much. They put all this stuff out. You don't know when it's coming out. And then if they get a popular show, they dump it all in on one day, and then it's gone. The Last of Us is going to be in the conversation for what, 12 weeks, 10 weeks, however long it is. Mandalorian's coming out, and you're gonna. I think it's 8 episodes or whatever it is. You got 8 weeks in the Mandalorian you're gonna be talking about. So Stranger Things, when it comes out, you're talking about it for like a week, 2 weeks. That's it.
HBO is the one that never wavered. They were
No.
like, we release things weekly.
Yep, that's it. We've always have, always will.
That's what we do. And I think that was a really smart play by them.
Yeah, and Paramount Plus is doing it right too.
Yeah, they are.
Paramount
I
Plus.
caught up.
1923.
Yeah.
Great, isn't it?
Holy
So good.
shit.
So good.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it's really
That
good.
show is so good. Did you see that Tulsa King not only second season, but possibly a world?
Oh no, I
Might
didn't
be
know that.
making a whole.
No, I didn't see that. That's
Yeah.
great. I finished that. We'll talk about during TV. But as Roxy very nicely said, started growing out the beard for a reason, everybody. And one of those reasons is because I wanted to talk more about my balls. No, just kidding. About Manscaped in general, man. Manscaped, we're so glad to have them back, and now they got a beard trimmer. It's awesome. And you keep it. I can groom myself because I was never, amazing at this stuff. And as I get older, I was able to grow some shit out of my face. And now they're selling beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new. They have a beard hedger, and it's the Pro Kit. It's from a beard trim to a fresh shave. The technology behind the Beard Trimmer Pro Kit allows you to shape your beard and how you want it to look. You can finally use the Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com. But you got to use that code Big Thing for 20% off and free shipping. Tame your mane. No one likes a weird beard. So say goodbye to all your stubble trouble with Manscaped Pro Beard Kit. It's that beard hedger, man. It starts it. It's a juggernaut. It fixes your face. And first off, it's got the cordless trimmer as a rotary wheel that gives you 20 positions of precision, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right. Face grooming does not need to be hard. Get 20 different lengths in just one guard. It's waterproof, too, which is pretty cool. There's a beard shampoo. There's conditioner. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts. Who doesn't like gifts? It's got a beard brush. It's got a comb. It's got scissors. All of it and more. So go on and get that 20% off. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BIGTHING at manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping, manscaped.com. Use that code BIGTHING. Manscaped Beard Hedger. One stroke, one guard, 20 lengths. You'll normally, are you a facial hair girl?
Yeah.
You like it? Okay, because some people like the clean shave and some people don't.
I like different things for different faces.
Yeah.
It's not like a one size fits all.
Right,
But
but
this is really good on you right now.
Thank you, because
Yeah.
you would tell me, because as you get older, your face can look old.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it looks old.
Whose?
You know what inspired me was that stupid picture that we found when I had with Brett's kid in my hand.
Yeah.
Why is it stupid?
Because it started to put me in a position. I'm like, it right away. I said, I gotta lose weight. I gotta be healthy for my kids.
Yeah.
And I can't look like I can't do it. So and I never was able to grow facial hair. And so I got older, and somehow it happened. So thank you for the compliment.
You were always clean shaven?
Always stubble. Always stubble. And I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Even when he was supposed to shave at a CPK.
Is that true?
Yeah. You look like an unmade bed every time you came in.
That's probably
Shirt wrinkled, stubble, all the things that they, like not half tucked in.
I was a terrible worker, wasn't I? I was really bad there. I was not good. I was not a good worker. I've never been good working for people, man. I just never have. And I don't want to give her the full woman's name, but she was the manager.
Yeah.
And then she pretty much fired me. And then I asked her out on a date. You remember that? You remember?
Did she say yes?
She did, but then she said, "No, I can't go out with you. I fired you." But she did say yes. You remember that? She was like, "Yeah, I'll go out with you." I'm like, "All right, great. Let's go on." She's like, "I don't think I can. I just fired you." I was like, "All right." Yeah, it was hilarious. Oh my God, memories, memories, hilarious. That never happened to her. We'll call her Francine Waffles.
Yeah. Francine Waffles.
Francine
That's close.
It's not too far off. All right. It's nice that we've got to go down. Oh, we're on the air.
Hey.
All right, we're gonna let Roxy go. Roxy,
You're gonna let me go?
Yeah.
you got you're out of here. You wanted to do 2 shows, now you got nothing. All right, what do you got? Pick.
I feel like as the TV girl, I got to go with the Mandalorian trailer. I know
Love
that
it.
you've talked a little bit about this, but it dropped, and for me, I guess this wasn't as rare as I thought. I just think that Mandalorian is the best Star Wars show. It's so good. I get so excited every time I see this little dynamic duo. I don't know much about Star Wars lore, as you know, so when he's like, we're going back to Mandalore.
You loved it.
That was a good voice.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it sounded just like it.
Good.
I was like, yeah. It's exciting for me.
It's look, what I had said to you, because you're like, I know everyone's raving about Andor, but to me, Mandalorian is the best. You are in the majority.
Yeah. I thought I wasn't until you said that. I
No.
thought that everybody thought, and I liked Andor, but to me, Mandalorian is just, it's Star Wars.
And I don't think as much as I loved Andor, I can't argue that with you. Mandalorian is my favorite Star Wars show.
It's
I
so
think
Star Wars fun, cool.
it's got. I said this again the other day. It has everything. It is the perfect mix of Star Wars soup, where Andor scratches the back of like one particular itch, one itch on the back, as where Mandalorian is all over.
And it was an itch I didn't have.
Right.
But was happy to be scratched, but was
right. Well, it's about the Empire, Andor. It's about the Empire, and it's about the rebellion, and it's this one particular thing which I love. I think it's brilliant. I still say it, script-wise, character development, all of that. It's the best written Star Wars thing since Empire, and I stand by it. But when you watch this trailer, this is what I mean. There's lightsabers in this thing. There's space battles. There's Mandalorians. There's lore. It's like this is what people want.
Grogu's. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
For the first few, I think it's like 45 seconds of the trailer, you don't see any faces, and it's like it's just not the same. It takes you out of this world. They look different. They are. It's like aliens and creatures and different places, and we're traveling it to planets that I'm so excited to go to. There's just something about wanting to escape this reality that Andor doesn't quite do for me, because there's so much commentary on our world in that show. But Mandalorian, I'm just like escapism TV at the best.
It's absolute escapism TV, and I think that's what is so interesting. You just saw this trailer today.
Yes.
What did you think?
Oh, wonderful. I mean, I've been excited for this to come out, too. This is another one that my wife, actually the whole family watches this one, so I'm super excited about this. And yet again, another thing that we can go week to week on and be excited to watch. I'm glad to see that Grogu cat.
Me too.
So cute.
What's the plan, Kristian, with this? How many episodes is this season? And then how many seasons do we go on the show? Do you have information?
So they haven't made a full announcement as far as how many seasons it goes. And I think we'll be a little bit more clear after this season, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? We know that from this trailer, it looks like that Grogu is being trained to be a Mandalorian. That was the choice that he made. It's very curious. We talked about it on Sith yesterday. Was it a mistake to show the reuniting of Grogu and the Mandalorian in Boba Fett? Because if you only watch Mandalorian, you're going to be like, well, how the hell did that happen? So they got to show some kind of recap to show how that happened. But where does it go? I mean, I don't know yet, because I don't know how this season works, but I would say 4 seasons, 5 seasons. The main thing, though, is how Filoni and Favreau have they're still doing this, but at least there's a lot of it. They have their own universe. So Mandalorian, Boba Fett, the Skeleton Crew, and Ahsoka all play in the same timeline. And I think that the rumor is that they're going to have this big crossover event.
What's the Skeleton Crew?
Skeleton Crew's one with Jude Law.
Oh.
And it's directed by and showrun by John Watts, who did Spider-Man and all that, and then The Old Man. He did the first 2 episodes of The Old Man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
that's so weird.
Yeah, he directed the first 2, which are the best.
Yeah.
For best 2. So yeah, I think that it's how that all plays together, because they got to explain where the hell is Grogu during the new trilogy. And then there's also rumors of how they're going to play the World Between Worlds in Ahsoka, which was a thing that happened in Rebels. It's a big thing. So
is it possible that he dies?
I mean, it's possible.
Hopefully. I mean,
it's possible, but it's also
the zombies get him.
the zombies
he's got
get
a
him.
fungus. Fungus. And my dog has a fungus in his ass. It stinks.
Is that true?
I don't know what he's got. He's got the dogs. They scratch their ass on the rugs, and it's like the other day I'm laying down. He's laying next to me. I was like, come on, man. Horrible. Stick a freaking, soapy towel in his ass.
Yeah.
Did you?
I had to.
Ugh.
Terrible. Otherwise, it stinks up the whole freaking
Is that
house.
part of
little pug?
the dog setting?
What? No.
Soapy ass?
He doesn't. It doesn't happen. It happens like every like year. So now that it's happened, you got a year.
Change
When
my
you
mind.
were single, did you have a pet?
Yeah, I had a pug.
Oh, yeah.
I had a
And you
pug.
took care of it by yourself?
I did.
Taz.
Tazzy. Yeah, he was a maniac.
I want so badly to have a dog, but it just seems like impossible to be single and have a dog. I know people do it every day.
It doesn't.
But what if I travel? It's expensive. It needs to get vaxxed and shit.
It actually, yeah, but that's all in the beginning. It's
gotta walk
actually, I
it.
think that if for you, it's probably good because you've always said in the long run you want to have kids.
Yeah, I definitely need to have a dog before I have kids.
100%. I think
But
that's what I did. I mean, I think I learned a lot of my parenting skills from
How
having
did you
a
travel?
dog.
How did you go anywhere?
I had friends watch him. And it was
You gonna watch my dog when I go away?
it depends on what kind of dog you get.
Yeah.
Little one.
Depends on what kind of dog you get.
Little one.
Some little dogs are assholes. Some little dogs are great.
He has to have a sit down with this dog
Yeah.
and, just hash some things out. lay
What
down
kind
some
of dog
ground rules.
do you want to be? Are you going to be a dog that barks all the time? You're going to be one that just kind of is real cute, can use their looks to help them out, benefit themselves in life? Or are you just going to be that barking little prick that you look like you're going to be? I don't want to judge.
Like this little? Like one of them teacup?
I don't know, just something that it's not rude to have them in an apartment, Like you don't want to have a big
a pug.
dog and not. Well, I would probably rescue whatever little dog. I don't know. I'm
at
so
you.
far away from it. As I talk about it, it's stressing me the fuck out. I changed my mind.
And this all came from Grogu. Look, Din has Grogu, and it's good. And they have a nice companionship. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it. It's March 1st. Looks like that we're gonna have Katie Sackhoff in studio soon.
Whoa.
Looks like she's gonna come in. My goal is to get her in before the show airs and then after the show airs.
Cool.
So
Just in time for Brett's birthday.
Yep.
yes, so we're trying to get her in here. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks. It would be either on Big Thing or Sith Council. Just depends on her schedule. So we will see. So look out for that one. All right, Brett, you're on the clock, you little piece of trash.
Hey!
What do you got?
Trashing it up. I want to talk about the thing that we were talking. I'm interested in the Hugh Jackman's comment on Taron Egerton.
Okay.
In
All right,
that,
let's do it.
Taron Egerton. And that,
Is it because you like Taron Egerton in The Last of Us?
I loved him
No,
in the
he's
last
Joel
of it.
Edgerton's brother.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Let's talk about it. We got it. It's coming.
He was the main zombie.
Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is going to be in Deadpool, reprising the role of Mr. Wolverine in Deadpool 3, which we think is going to be called Wolverine and Deadpool, Wolverine, whatever it might be. It's been a lot of rumors, man, about Taron Egerton over the last couple of years, and Josh Horowitz asked him, a lot of people asked him about Wolverine playing in the MCU, and this is from Comic Book Movie. And he said Taron Egerton remains a firm fan favorite to play the MCU's Wolverine, and Hugh Jackman has finally shared his thoughts on that. The Deadpool 3 star also offers another possible title for that. Excuse me. While the MCU will eventually get a new Wolverine, Hugh Jackman is set to reprise the role in Deadpool 3 and is even rumored to be part of Marvel Studios' ambitious Avengers Secret Wars plans. An X-Men reboot still appears to be a long way off and certainly won't happen in the multiverse saga, hence why we're hoping Phase 7 will usher in the mutant saga. One actor who has quickly emerged as a fan favorite is Taron Egerton. The Welsh actor previously starred in Eddie the Eagle alongside Jackman. It's a great movie, by the way. And the current Wolverine shared his thoughts on the possibility of him taking over, and this is what Jackman said. Taron is one of the most talented actors out there, and you can see his range is incredible. He responded when asked about the prospect of passing the baton to Egerton. However, he'd go on to joke around, but he's just got to cool his heels a little bit. So him just joking around makes a lot of sense. But then what is it? Deadpool 3, Ryan Reynolds, and they said there still can't be a title. They said, we want to call it Wolverine 10, if that's okay. Let's call it Wolverine 10. I believe in 9, well, including cameos, I've appeared 9 times. Anyway.
Who wrote this article?
Comicbookmovie.com.
Yeah, I just want to know who, because if you're not British and you're spelling favorite with a U, then you're a dickhead.
Oh. I think it is. I think it's I don't know where it is. Josh Wilding, maybe? Anyway.
You can't spell favorite with a U and if you're from here.
Yeah, well, maybe he's not.
Trying too hard.
I don't think so. I think Comic Movie is overseas. Anyway, could be wrong. Doesn't matter at this point.
Does.
Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine again is a fun thing. I think he definitely will show up in Secret Wars. I think everybody and their mother's going to show up in that movie. But Taron Egerton is the bigger story here, because Taron Egerton keeps getting rumored for this role. It keeps happening. There's like this. The Fantastic Four is going to be the first thing, and Reed Richards and all they'll be the first. But when it finally comes down to it, I'm giving a yes or no right now, putting you on the spot. Will Taron Egerton be announced as Wolverine?
Yeah.
Brett?
Yes.
I agree. I think he's absolutely going to be cast.
Yeah, I think he's Wolverine.
I think there's too much buzz around it.
I think it is funny. It's all about credibility, and they've earned credibility, so people aren't questioning things anymore. Like, think about how people are talking about DC right now, up in fucking arms. But Wolverine, people are curious, but nobody's up in arms. Nobody's up in arms about Fantastic Four or Wolverine, because everybody just trusts.
Because it's also because they've had enough iterations of Wolverine. Like, there's been the majority of all of the movies that he's been in with Hugh Jackman have been good, and Hugh Jackman played the character for so long that people are like, okay, time for a new one.
Totally. Right. So, yeah, I think that they're just not announcing that yet because crossing their T's, dotting their I's, it's not next on the slate. They've got time, whatever it is. But, yeah, I think he's a great pick. I think that fans have cast him. I think he's probably already signed, sealed, delivered. It's good. It all works.
So thanks for joining us.
My mind went. You said something, and then who did Marcel? What's the actress name?
Jenny Slate.
Yeah, yes. You said the slate. They're checking the slate or something like that, and then my mind went to Jenny Slate, and then it went to. I wonder if Kristian has a Blu-ray of Marcel the Shell.
I do.
And that's where I was at in my head when you went.
Did you love it?
Oh, you didn't hear my controversial opinion on it?
Oh my God, you don't like it?
That movie.
Oh no!
It was in my top 10.
Oh, okay.
It was fantastic.
Isn't it just the greatest?
It's great. It's such a sweet movie. And you know what? Look.
Do you know that's one of my best impressions? Oh my God!
Let's see. Here.
Where did you pull this out from?
His ass. Put it up. Put it up. Put it into the screen.
Are you being serious that you own that?
Yeah.
Do you care about me at all?
I added the quarter that I found in here because you're supposed to.
Do you care about me?
Yeah. I let you see it. I'm not giving it to you.
You're supposed to put a long.
Oh my
thin.
God! It's so rude.
Yeah, I know. Show them.
I am trying to show them my new gift that you gave me.
No. You love that so much. I got to put that. I should put it. If you want to put it on, we should put it on.
People tell me my head's too big for my body, and I just look at them and say, "Compared to what?"
That is definitely your best.
My best impression.
Unfortunately, not enough people have seen the movie.
I know, it's crazy.
It's a great movie.
The movie is excellent.
Loved it.
It's one of my. It is my favorite of this year, but it's also my favorite A24 movie.
It's a great movie. It really was.
So
it was really
good.
sweet. It was just.
They said this to you?
Yeah.
They said this to you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
Turns into a little house, and then you put a
They
quarter.
said this to you?
That's right.
Supposed to put a Q-tip and like a raisin or something in there.
Do you know
I don't give a fuck what you're saying anymore. Do you understand what happened to me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, listen. You know what else I started watching last night? RRR.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but nothing.
So I started watching it, and it's funny because I started watching it the other night, and I think I was I was tired, so I turned it on, and I always find myself in this position when I turn on these movies that are so hyped. I'm like, let me see how I feel about this movie. So I turn it on.
Isn't the first thing like a fight with a tiger?
No, the first thing is like the opening scene is pretty good, and it kind of sets up what the movie is ultimately about. But then there's a scene where this guy takes on like 1,000 soldiers by himself, And I wrote to Frank Janisch and to Merle. I'm like, is this guy a superhero? Like, what? I don't understand yet. I didn't realize it was a superhero movie. And they're like, no, he's not. He's a normal guy. And I'm like, So I didn't know. And I'm like, I don't know. And then it's beautiful. It's shot wonderfully. It's like the music's really good. The acting's really good. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if the style's gonna work for me. So I took a break and I watched almost the whole first season of Young Rock. and I was like,
That's what you did?
yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a lie. I do know why, because it was because a lot of the season 3 has been trending because of they cover a lot of the Attitude Era, and that's where I worked there, and I wanted to get to it. So I had watched a lot of the first season already, so I kind of caught up on the back half really. Like I was like 5 or 6 episodes.
What
I
an
wanted
interesting
watching.
choice.
But it was I think that I wanted to just chill out, it was like a sitcom, 24 minutes each episode, and that was it. So I'm
so glad that I've recommended 500 shows to you this year.
And I went to Young Rock,
Yeah.
but two nights ago. That was 2 nights ago. So then, and Frankie Numbers was like, "Did you finish it?" And I was like, "No, I couldn't do it." The first scene, I was like, I really appreciated the style of it, but I've got to go back to it. And he's like, "All right." So I go back to it last night, and once the story kicks in, it's fucking awesome.
Good.
It's really awesome.
I want to see it so bad, but the 3 hours is daunting.
And I've said the same exact thing. I said, and I haven't finished yet. I'm like 2 hours into it. I haven't finished it yet because it was too late and I had to go to sleep. But I felt the same way. It cooks. I mean, the thing moves. It never slows down.
I'm sure it's just daunting.
Yeah, it is. And the style, like, because Merle said it. He said to me, he's like, you ease into like the style of it and realize how it kind of blends into the whole thing. He was 100% right. He's like, if you get to the dance sequence and you're not in, then you should probably bail. And I was in the second the story really kicks in, because they explain more so. They don't explain how the guy's able to do it, but it's kind of like this kind of fantastical thing, the same way like 300, like, with the Spartans and everything, the way that was. And I was like, okay, I get what this is now.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix. And so when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, I'm on board in that. And then I was just locked into it because the story between the two guys, what they do in the kind of the lore between them, it's fantastic. It's a really, really, really good movie, and I can't wait to finish it. But like, I was worried because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm there. I get it. I understand how it's stylized, and it's I get it. But I'm glad I took my break. And I wasn't in the headspace for it. And then last night I was like, okay, good, because it was really it's really enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. All right.
I believe you're not going to give me this Marcel thing.
Oh yeah, no chance. But what we will do is I'm going to give you your own segment, and I did that a couple of weeks ago, and now we're back. It's the TV talk with Roxy Striar.
Here we go.
What do you got, girl?
Hope young Sheldon and the Good Doctor are on there.
No, but you know what is on there?
What's that?
The comeback.
Okay, there it is.
So every week now, I want to give you guys a throwback that I think it was super underrated that not a lot of people watched. And this week, I'm talking about the comeback. The reason that this was on my mind this week is because I feel like we're seeing a lot of women get their flowers later in life now, as we just saw at the Globes and at the Critics' Choice, which we saw with Michelle Yeoh, and we saw with Jennifer Coolidge, and we saw with Angela Bassett, and I think that this show, if you are excited about that, but also are a fan of comedy and love Lisa Kudrow because she is one of the funniest people on the planet, this is must-see TV. The interesting thing about the comeback is that it was 2 seasons, and they were 10 years apart from each other, the 2 seasons.
Really?
Yeah, which was wild.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch until the 2nd season, but I had heard about the show as the biggest Friends fan ever. I had always thought, okay, I'll get to this at some point. And I've loved I'll talk about episodes on some different episode of this, but a lot of the side projects or projects after Friends that the cast have done have really landed with me. This is the best of all of them. Have you ever watched The Comeback?
No.
Have you seen The Comeback?
I've seen clips of it, but no, I haven't seen it.
So Kate references this show sometimes too. I think that if you are a comedian, if you are somebody who likes Lisa Kudrow, if you like stories of comebacks, this is like so funny and very relevant today. She essentially decides, Lisa Kudrow is playing this character Valerie Cherish, but it's kind of like Lisa Kudrow, and she decides that she's going to get a reality show to tape her comeback moment as an actress. and it's like goes horribly wrong. And
Sure.
and the 2 seasons being 10 years apart is like the best thing they could have done. It's on HBO. This is really, really good.
Will they do another season 10 in 10 years?
That would be amazing. That's what they should do. But
Is it supposed to take place 10 years later after the first season and second season?
I think that they just didn't get picked up for a second season, and then they did 10 years later. They just did a
But
second
the timeline,
season.
it goes like 10. It's in between 10 years or not really? They don't really say.
It definitely is later on.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think I don't know if they acknowledge it's 10 years, but they say it's like a time jump for
Okay,
sure.
so
Yeah.
that's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, here's this next one.
You guys, thank you at home. You kept saying to me, watch Welcome to Chippendales, watch Welcome to Chippendales. And I was like, oh, I hear that the story is kind of crazy. I hear it's depressing. I don't know if I want to see this right now. I am shook by this show. Do you guys know the Chippendales story?
So, no, but you want to hear something funny? Sadie's watching this without me.
Ah.
And she started watching this show. How many episodes are there so far?
There's 8, and it's done, I think.
Oh, it's already done.
Yeah.
Okay, so she just watched episode 1.
January 3rd was the last episode.
So I should watch this show.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah?
I couldn't believe. So this is in a similar vein to The Dropout or Inventing Anna. This is a true crime show.
Oh, wow.
Which I was unaware that. I thought it was going to be more of like a
Comedy mix?
Yeah, a comedy / like a biopic, you know.
That's what I thought.
And it is, but I didn't realize the crime around the Chippendales. I mean, there's scandal, there's fraud, there's murder, there's like it's all of the things that you could want in a TV show. It's crazy. The performances are amazing.
How's Juliette Lewis?
Excellent.
Love her.
She's so good. Everybody in it is so good. I couldn't believe because people are talking about this, but not like, oh, this is a.
It's not like it's not in the like the way that like the Bear was.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a heavy hitter. And I think that it's also smart. It came out in 2022, but it also played into 2023. I hope that this is on a lot of people's best of 2023 lists because there was an episode. So it's just so crazy, the story.
Right.
Every turn that it took, I'm Googling on my phone. You know, when you do this, you're watching a show and you pull it out and you're like,
What
did
happened?
happen?
Yeah.
No way. Like, I couldn't stop researching after this.
That's great. And that's on what?
It's on Hulu.
Okay, that's on Hulu. Hulu's got a lot of great stuff, man.
Yeah, really good stuff. Okay, so this is a story that a lot of people are familiar with. Madoff, which is the Bernie Madoff story. Madoff, the Monster of Wall Street. This is a 4-part docuseries on Netflix that came out. If you don't know about Bernie Madoff, then this is one of the biggest frauds that ever took place in the history of Wall Street, if not the absolute
Ponzi scheme,
biggest.
right?
Yeah, Ponzi scheme, where he stole, I think it's like $65 billion. It's insane. This was very relevant in my community as he was Jewish and growing up. He stole mostly from all Jews, and so this
Kevin
was like
Bacon and Kara Sidgwick got hit pretty hard too.
There's
Yeah.
a lot
But
of
yes.
people who got hit, but when I was growing up, it was such a relevant story in my community
Yes.
because he targeted his own people,
Right.
and also he was so philanthropic in the Jewish community. That's like how he was a huge contributor to Birthright, which is how a lot of Jews go to Israel, whatever. So I've always known about the Bernie Madoff story. He's always been like villain number one to a lot of families, but watching this, you're like, how did he get away with this? And this is the first time I feel like I understand what actually happened. And it's really in depth. The first episode, it's like, okay, is this like a little bit of a slugfest? Because they're having to explain to us what the fuck happened, which is confusing. You know, I don't understand Wall Street. They're using a lot of jargon and they're having to explain it. But by the 3rd and 4th episodes, I was like, holy shit. I mean, you're just looking at all the lives, the thousands and thousands of lives that he destroyed, taking their entire retirements, people who then had to go back. They're 80 years old working at grocery stores,
Right.
and they went from having $50 million to $0.
Didn't his family rat him out?
At the end, do you want to know?
I mean, it's public knowledge, so yeah.
Yeah, he came clean to his family, but
Right.
he was going to get caught, and his 2 sons ratted him out.
Right, because I
And
remember,
then-
didn't De Niro play him, or was it Pacino? I can't remember. I think De Niro played him.
I'm not sure, but
Okay.
but everybody thought that his sons were in on it, and they both ended up dead by 48.
Oh, that I didn't know.
because
Holy
one
shit.
of them killed themselves
Oh,
and one
shit.
of them got riddling cancer and died. Yeah,
Oh,
and
brutal.
brute. I mean, they were like destroyed by him.
Yeah.
Everyone around him ended up dead, like murdered, dead, in a pool, suicide. Like anybody who was associated with him was so badly attacked, whether they did know or didn't know. He took everyone down with
he's
him.
like Walter White it's not meth. It's dirty money in Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like Walter White.
And you
it's
think
crazy.
you're like, oh, woe is me. These people lost millions of dollars. I mean, he destroyed these families, destroyed them. Like, came into their lives, convinced widows who were single, who, like, their last dime, give me your money. And then they had nothing. And then the way the government handled it, which this part I was unclear about, then they made all the victims, if they had made any money from him,
give it back.
Yeah, and they didn't have it. It was like, this is from 1950 that you gave my family money. That was my grandma. And they came after the kids, like everybody.
Wow.
Anybody who had made any money from him who had no idea. Just everything was handled so fucking poorly. Our government fucked this one up so bad. Yeah, because every time they went to go search him, he like schmoozed them. And they were like, oh yeah, it's totally legal and to find what he's doing.
Walter White, man.
Insane.
I'm telling you, that's crazy. All right, so that's on what?
That's Netflix. 4 parts.
Netflix as well.
Really interesting. If you actually want to know what happened, this is the only time I've seen anything that I was like,
really clear cut.
This is clearly what happened.
All right. So then we talked about this, but go ahead.
Yeah, The Last of Us. I think this is going to be on my list for the next 10 weeks or however long the show runs, because I can't be a TV fan and not talk about this show. It's an HBO original. The show is freaking amazing. Whether you play the game or not, the performances are great. The world is great. The scoring is great, which comes from the actual video game. It's this show so far is one of the best pilots I've seen in a while. Really, really good.
You know, for the entire episode, we thought that the actress who played Tess was Carrie Coon.
It does look like her.
Looks just like her.
It does look like her.
Carrie Coon from Leftovers and Ghostbusters. And Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I think Carrie Coon is one of the best actresses.
She's fantastic. And I was like, I'm watching it going, it looks like her.
It does look like her.
But I was like, but I don't feel like it is. And I was like, no. And my wife's usually great with this stuff. She's like, that's her. And I'm like, I don't know. And
their
then,
facial structure is very similar.
Like so much so. And I was like, let me check. And then I checked. I was like, yeah, it's not her. She's like, let me see. And I was like, holy crap. We put side by side. They look very similar. Very similar. All right. So let's go back and let's look at those picks real quick before we wrap it up for the day. You got Last of Us, obviously HBO Max. That's on every Sunday night. We'll be covering it on this show for sure. You got the Monster of Wall Street, the Madoff. Sorry, I mean, just that post. That's a great poster, by the way.
So,
really
oh my
good.
God, this show's interesting.
And then Welcome to Chippendales on Hulu/FX.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just Hulu. I watch on Hulu, yeah.
And then last is an old rehash. And not Lisa Kudrow's not the old rehash, but the show itself is the comeback. And that's an old school recommendation from Roxy. Okay. Well, that's the show, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. Thank you to our friends over at Manscaped and Carbon Health for sponsoring the show. And speaking of Manscaped, by the way, everybody, if you want to help out the show, that's how you help it out. Go and help yourself out and get yourself Manscaped. Do it. Use that code, big thing. If you haven't joined the Patreon, please come on over. Hang out. We got the Q&As, we got rewatches, we have one-on-ones, we have all these things. Patreon.com/thebigthingshow. Merch is out there now. Sith. Show some class, big thing, capes and cows. The flutter flousy. You don't know shit, Black Knight and more. Go and head over there and do it. As I mentioned, the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found, and certainly last but not least, subscribe to the channel, man. We're almost there. We're almost at 70,000. We're going to start taking this show on the road. I'm looking at June. I'm looking at June for New York. I'm looking at March/April for LA. That's what I'm looking at right now. So I'll let you know. And Brett and I will be performing at Flappers Comedy Club on February 13th, which is a Monday night. You can get tickets. It's for the Jake Lewis comedy show. So head on over and get your tickets at Flappers. That's it. That's all I got. That's it. So you want to see more Last of Us coverage? You can go to my playlist. That's where you can check that out. For Roxy Striar, Brett Sheridan. It's a big thing. Peace.